Karine just noted, later today, President Biden will deliver an address at the State Department on the United States' position in the world as he hands it off to the incoming administration. The State Department, as many of you know, is where President Biden delivered his first foreign policy address in February of 2021. And it was a very different world then. We were still in the midst of a devastating health and economic crisis, with our alliances fraying and fragile, and our competitors and adversaries on the march growing stronger. And the President spoke at that time about the urgency of meeting the challenges of this world in a period of profound transition and change. The post-Cold War era had ended. The United States was in a contest for what comes next, economically, technologically, and with respect to our values and vision for the world. A time of change and transition like that has brought geopolitical turbulence, technological disruption, the pressures of an energy transition, and more. We've had a lot thrown at us. But as we pass the baton to our successor, the President will report with confidence that America is winning that contest for the future. If you look around the world today and you ask the question, which country is the most dynamic and innovative, the most attractive to partners and friends, the most capable of marshaling solutions to the big challenges we face, who's leading the world in technology, who's had the strongest economic recovery? The answer to all of these questions is clear, indisputable, and the same. It's the United States of America. So in his address this afternoon, you'll hear the President lay this out. And basically, it boils down to a series of simple questions. Are our alliances stronger? Yes. Are our adversaries weaker and under greater pressure, even as they align more closely? Yes. Did we improve our strategic position in the long-term competition with China? And did we do so while stabilizing the relationship so that we're not tipping over into conflict? Yes. Did we begin to reverse a long-term trend and revitalize our defense industrial base and diversify our supply chains for critical goods? Yes. Did we strengthen the engines of American economic and technological power? Yes. And did we do all of that while keeping America out of war? Yes. The President fundamentally delivered on his promise to invest in America, including in our manufacturing base to produce the world's most advanced semiconductors and other strategic technologies. In fact, our cutting-edge technologies, AI, biotech, quantum, and others, are the envy of the world. When the President took office, many of you were writing that China's economy was on track to surpass America's economy by the end of the decade or shortly thereafter. Now, on current course and speed, they're unlikely to ever surpass us. America's alliances, meanwhile, have actually never been stronger in Europe and in Asia. NATO is bigger, more unified, and our allies are stepping up to pay their fair share. Our Asian alliances are more robust and now more tightly linked than at any point in history. Russia tried to conquer Ukraine, to wipe it off the map. But thanks to Ukrainian bravery and our support, Russian forces are bogged down in Ukraine at enormous cost with over 700,000 casualties in the war. And Ukraine stands free, Kyiv stands free, and Ukraine will emerge from this war a strong, sovereign, independent nation rooted in the West. This has been made possible by the unity of the alliance that President Biden built and rallied, and a massive effort led by the United States on a scale not seen since the Second World War to equip a partner with the military capability it needed to defend itself against a brutal invasion by a much bigger neighbor. Even as we competed fiercely with China, the President actually opened and deepened diplomatic channels with Beijing, including new military-to-military channels that help us manage this competition and prevent it from veering into confrontation or conflict. In the Middle East, we've stood in defense of our friends and we've stood up to our enemies. We built and acted alongside an unprecedented coalition to directly defend Israel in the face of Iranian aggression. Iran is now at the weakest point since 1979. There is a ceasefire in Lebanon and the possibility of a new political future with a new president. Russia and Iran's lackey in Syria, Assad, is gone, and we are now at a pivotal point in the negotiations for a hostage deal and ceasefire in Gaza. The President spoke with Prime Minister Netanyahu yesterday and just got off the phone with the Emir of Qatar. He'll be speaking soon also with President Sisi of Egypt. We are close to a deal, and it can get done this week. I'm not making a promise or a prediction, but it is there for the taking, and we are going to work to make it happen. Now, there are serious and ongoing challenges in the world. The Houthis continue to represent a clear and present danger. ISIS is trying to use the fall of Assad to regenerate after years of sustained pressure and the degradation of its networks. North Korea remains the same menace it has been for many years across many administrations. China's cyber attacks are a continuing threat, and more. But we have the capacity and the wherewithal and the friends and allies to meet these challenges. Finally, there are also important initiatives that the next team should carry forward, in our view, that have a strong bipartisan foundation in order to cement America's position of strength in the world and our current lead in key areas. The work we've started to revitalize our defense industrial base, the steps we've taken to protect America's foundational technologies from being used against us by our competitors, the major global infrastructure initiative that provides a long-term alternative to China's Belt and Road. Suffice it to say, it's been an action-packed 4 years. But if you take stock of where America stands today, I believe deeply that the incoming administration is starting with a very strong hand. So as we pass the baton, we are doing so, thanks to the leadership of President Biden and his team, from a position of profound American confidence and capacity. And when you look around the world, there is no other country that has what we have to bring to both the competition we face and the challenges we need to marshal the world to help solve. And with that, I'd be happy to take your questions. Yeah.